So people have been telling me my whole life, since I started surfing when I was 12, starting with my big brother, who is 17 years older than me, that I was the hugest kook in the history of kookdom. Were they right? Do I care? I don't know. You decide for yourself. What I really want to talk about today is the herd mentality in surfing. Everyone talks about how every surf spot is so crowded these days, and there are just so many kooks, and everything's so crowded. The reality is, well, let's discuss what the reality is. I have surfed over 200 days in the last year. We spent 7 weeks in El Salvador, we spent 2 weeks in Costa Rica, we spent 7 weeks in Nicaragua, and I've been spending 2 months every winter here in the Dominican Republic. We have also been surfing at home in Florida quite frequently. I would say of those over 200 days surfing that I have probably spent half of those days surfing with less than 4 or 5 people in the water. Of those days, I would probably say that I've spent half of those days, so probably closer to a quarter or maybe a third of the day of the 200 days I spent surfing in the last year, surfing alone. When I say alone, I mean just me and my girlfriend, and even sometimes completely alone. In places like Popoyo, Nicaragua, Rancho Santana, Nicaragua, and some of the most touristic beaches in the Dominican Republic, as well as the place we are now, also in the Dominican Republic. I have not seen another surfer here in this part of the Dominican Republic, and these beaches where we are right now. I have not seen one single other surfer in 16 days here. Yeah, it's so crowded everywhere. It's a zoo. People comment on my channel all the time. I wouldn't say all the time, but frequently, calling me a kook because I produce surf guides for people who want to travel to well-known surf spots. Yeah, the well-known surf spots are always going to be crowded. If you want to go to Nosara, Costa Rica, if you want to go to Popoyo, Nicaragua, if you want to go to Playa Grande, Costa Rica, if you want to go on a surf trip to Pavones when there's swell, there are going to be other surfers around. With that being said, if you're willing to take yourself off the beaten path and explore in these same areas that are packed with surfers all the time, you will find that there are empty waves. And the reason you will find that there are empty waves is multi-pronged. But the main reason is that surfers have a mob mentality. Surfers, and humans in general, are herd animals. I never knew what a sigma was. I never heard the term sigma until the last year of my life. But the reality is, shortly after researching what other people define as a sigma, I realized that I have many of the traits of a sigma because I have never cared for what the mob or the herd is doing or thinks of me and what I am doing. I have spent literally my whole life doing my own thing, and that's why people have called me a kook, and I just keep surfing. People told me I couldn't get paid to snowboard because I was from Florida. I spent 12 years of my life getting paid to snowboard. This has been like a repeating pattern in my life. People told me that I could not become a registered nurse because I was blank. I've been a registered nurse now for 17 years. So, are the things that these people, are the things that the herd and the mob are saying and doing, are they real, or are they just the perception of the herd and the mob because the herd and the mob are afraid to go out of their comfort zone? Where we're staying here in the Dominican Republic is a local town on the edge of a tourist area. It's not off the map by any means. It's on the map. Or a 30-minute drive to the busiest surf area in the country and maybe one of the top 10 busiest surf beaches in the entire Caribbean. Yet I have not seen another surfer here for 16 days, and I do not expect to see another surfer here for the remaining 13 days, 14 days that we're here. Yes, this surf can be a little more inconsistent than the surf at the Magnet tourist break. Yes, to live here, you need to have some grasp of speaking Spanish, and you need to not be afraid to walk through a neighborhood that is poor, that is mostly Haitian immigrants, to the beach. I choose not to live in fear, and I choose to do things differently, not just for the sake of doing them differently, but just because I'm doing my own thing. I'm looking for my own waves. My partner and I, we like to travel to surf, and we try to split that time between reliable surf breaks and exploring new areas, because we like the thrill of exploring. And to be honest with you, we get sick of the surf scene. We get sick of I don't necessarily have a problem surfing in crowded lineups, but what I do get sick of is being in another country and being surrounded by Americans and Canadians and Europeans who insist on living like it's the United States or Canada or Europe while in another country. And you find that in all these main tourist areas that I've talked about in this video, and in most of them that I talk about in other videos, with maybe the exception of El Salvador. Anyways, I don't know where I was going with this rant, but we just had a nice little walk and talk, and I really feel like surfers are herd animals, and they scream at each other about the crowding and the kooks, but it's only that way because they choose to go to the same spots with the same people, because the only travel destinations that they can go to are the ones where they feel safe in their little bubble, and they can talk with those other bros and girls about gals, young women, and older women too, of course, about surfing all the time. God, I know I talk about surfing on this channel, but the last thing I want to do is go sit at a bar with you and have beers and talk about surfing. Let's talk about something real. Let's talk about the world. Let's talk about politics. There's so much going on in the world right now. Hopefully you're paying attention. Hopefully you are not just another herd animal. Anyways, I hope you're having a good day. I'm having a good day. We caught some sweet 2 to 3 to 4 foot waves this morning. It was offshore for 3 hours. We were the only people. Only 2 people walked by the whole morning while we were on the beach. 2 people walked by on the beach, maybe 3. The whole time we were surfing. And there were little barrels. I got a couple barrels. I got maybe a half dozen or 10 turns on these little 2 to 3 to 4 foot hollow sweet waves that really I would compare to like the Boom or like a couple other secret spots in Nicaragua I know, where they're just like slabbing sand wedges in 2 feet of water. It was awesome. It was fun. No one was around. Our search paid off. Are you a herd animal? I'm definitely not a herd animal. Shredder out.